You're listening to The Dave Glover Show.
Welcome back, everybody. FM News Talk 97.1. Mark Close sitting for Dave Glover. Tony with us also, and Max taking a day off. They'll all be back on Tuesday. We'll have the best of show for you from 3 to 7 on Monday on Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. 4:30 every Friday. George Mahey from St. Louis Magazine joins us, and he has brought in some friends and more food than we've ever had. Probably more people. Well, more food, absolutely. More food than we've ever had.
I've never been happier. Reason? There's 4 glasses of wine.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's amazing. You know, the talents over here.
I'm happy already. I haven't even started.
I barely have a sip, and George has got 4 glasses. Joining us is Becky from Sugar Creek, Rick from Balducci Vineyards, and Tony from Augusta. Welcome. Glad you're with us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yep. And
nice to be here.
They've been sponsors for a long time with Dave in the afternoon, and Dave and I have gone out and done appearances before. It is some of the most beautiful property you will ever see. And I've said this before, and I said it earlier today. I'm not a wine drinker, but I love going out there because the food is great. It's relaxing. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if you can't relax out at one of these locations, there's something wrong with you,
brother. Could close your eyes, go out there and open them, and you think you're in the Napa Valley the way that the hills roll. I mean, people that don't know Missouri wine country, or they think they do, you've got to go out and experience it. And these guys have 4 of the nicest vineyards out there.
Yes. And again, I don't remember, was one of you that we talked to in the past talking about the property and the ground, which is kind of rocky, which is great for growing wine, correct?
That's correct. There's different types of soil depending on where your site is. But they started growing grapes there in the 1800s. The Germans grew them, and Missouri was the second largest producer in the country at one time.
No kidding.
So we're not rookies. You know,
right.
We've come a long way in the last 40 years, a long, long way. And now we've gone from, pretty good wines to, I think, world-class wines.
Right. And Becky, one of the things, too, that's interesting about the Weinstrasse, and maybe some of the different wine areas, and George, you can jump in on this, too, is that, importing grapes and do all of that. You guys are, this is like a working,
we
vineyard.
all, the 4 wineries that are here today representing the Weinstrasse, which is our specific wine trail, all have our own vineyards surrounding our winery or within a really close area. And we take pride in making our own wines. They're all estate bottled, so we don't bring grapes in from out of state or other areas. We use our Missouri grapes. We have... Actually, today we brought a nice variety. We have our Vidal Blanc and we have a Saval, 2 white wines for you to sample, and then Rick brought a Chamberson and Tony brought a Norton. So they're all
indigenous
local
grapes
to
Missouri.
Yeah.
Right. Are you in a situation where you export grapes to anybody, or do you pretty much use everything you grow?
At our winery, at Sugar Creek, we use everything that we grow. We do have wholesale distribution where we get our wines to local stores, small boutique wine shops and things like that. Tony might have them in other areas. And Rick, yours is locally sold, right?
It is local,
right?
Yes.
Tony, wander and grab a mic there, and let me ask you, as far as like a growing season, a perfect season for wine, if you looked over 12 months for all your wineries out there, describe, like, if you were Dave Murray, the meteorologist, what would be a perfect year for you guys?
Well, the perfect situation would be if we had a warm spring without a lot of wind, with just a little bit of rain, moving into a summertime like June, July, and August, where the temperatures were 85 degrees during the day and then dropping down to about 55, 60 degrees at night. Mm-hmm. And then the fall being a perfect Indian summer fall. So we have time to let the grapes hang on the vine and then pick them exactly when we want to pick them.
Are there any grapes that could be grown here that aren't? I remember a couple years ago somebody was trying to grow Pinot Noir out in Augusta, and I don't think it worked out. Are there any? I'm assuming we're growing everything that we can at this point.
The thing that's interesting about a wine area, and to me this is the key. You have to select grapes that grow well in your area, and just because Chardonnay or Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot may be popular, it may not do well in your area. It takes a very specific climate to grow these types of grapes. So the grapes that we have are Native American grapes. They're French American hybrids, and we take these grapes and we plant them in specific sites so that they're exposed to the southern sun. They get good air drainage. The soils themselves are very unique in our area because these are glacial soils. This is Menfro silt loam, which is well drained, but still retains some moisture, and it has a lot of room for the roots to grow deep and be healthy.
And it must be going far. I mean, we were talking about how far wine has come. There's 126 wineries in the state now, which is unbelievable. We just wrote about it. I don't know if you read what we wrote, but there's a woman that has toured 100 out of 126 of the state vineyards, and she's writing about them.
Right.
And one of her points, which I thought was interesting, is people say, "Oh, I've tasted Missouri wines, I don't like them." Well, they probably tasted them 10 or 15 years ago, and they're basing it on that, and they've come a long way since then. Am I not right with this?
Exactly, and I'd say that in the last 10 years we've had huge steps. A lot of the wines from Missouri are now winning major awards in California and New York, and they're beating out some of the vinifera grapes like Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon.
You have to taste them blind.
You do.
Because you'll get fooled.
That's the only way that it can be done fairly because, a lot of people say, well, Missouri's a small industry and they're not like California or they're not like Washington State or Oregon. But the thing is, we have unique grapes that aren't grown anyplace else in the United States. They're grapes that fit our climate perfectly. They tolerate the cold winters. They're able to produce good fruit even in warm summers, and on occasion we have a warm summer. And they produce a wine that is just perfect for this particular area. And as we say in the industry, if the wines are well made, then they're as good as any other wine.
I totally agree, Rick. If Are people going for different wines now? I mean, 20 years ago, everybody was drinking sweet wine. And I think as palates progress, don't they start leaning toward drier wines? And are you guys making more drier wines because of that? Or did I just make something up?
No, I think the market is going drier. I do. Years ago, Missouri was thought of by many people as sweet wines, even though they weren't all sweet wines. But the market is going drier, just like if you start with a cup of coffee when you're a kid. Yep. You start with cream and sugar, and as you get older, you end up drinking it black a lot of times.
Now we're hammering espressos every morning.
Absolutely.
Your palate changes, and I do think they're going drier. Yeah, and the quality has gone up by improving techniques and learning how to manage vineyards. So we've come a long way.
I've got a question. You've got all kinds of different wines. In Missouri's ports are quite good. Tony, you've got several ports that you make. Why don't you guys make more? I mean, these things are winning awards all the time, it seems like. Why isn't there more port production out of Missouri wines? Well,
it's difficult to break into the market outside of Missouri and the contiguous states. We do a lot of wholesaling in Missouri, obviously, and also in Illinois, southern Illinois, and central Illinois, and Arkansas. But once you get beyond that, once you get beyond an area where people have had the opportunity to come to the winery and taste it, you're just another label on the shelf.
I got you.
And it's hard to market it.
We're talking to the folks from the Weinstrasse, Becky, Rick, and Tony. We also got George with us. We're going to do a break. We're going to come back, talk a little food, a little music, because it's all part of the Weinstrasse. It's FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Dave Glover Show.
FM News Talk 97.1 on a Friday afternoon. We have Becky from Sugar Creek, Rick from Balducci. We have Tony from Augusta Winery. We've got George, who just follows the wine around pretty much anywhere it shows up. And we have got delicious food. One of the great things about the wineries, part of the Weinstrasse, is, again, great grown grapes here in St. Louis making incredible wine. Always great events going on. if you're looking for a wedding reception, a party. I know you have a lot of girls' nights out, just events that are happening all the time, looking for a fun place to go to just relax. Becky, you've got a big event coming up. Tell us about that.
We do. I'm glad you asked about it because the Weinstrasse actually does several events throughout the year to work together to keep our wine trail, people aware of our wine trail out there and to visit the different ones. Right now, we're having a scavenger hunt, and it does go on until Monday. It started last Friday, and as you come out to the wine trail, if you just visit each of us, each 4 winery, you get either a cork with our logo on it, or you get a screw cap. And then when you get to the 4th winery, you just bring those in, and we have these beautiful Weinstrasse etched glasses. And we give that's a gift for visiting all of us. So
very nice. And Tony, Tony is also talking about who's our 4th winery that's not here today?
Well, I represent Augusta and Montel.
Okay.
My wife and I and son own both those.
Okay, good. So I just thought we haven't given any credit to Montel. So we just now is Montel with the pizzas.
Montel has the delicious pizzas and
really
we're on a
pizzas.
ridge.
Really good pizzas.
500 feet above the Missouri River.
Right.
And you get beautiful views.
Right. And again, it's one of those where if you go out and if it's spring or fall or summer, whatever the event is, when do you start being open all week long? Is that all year long or does that just during the regular season?
For our wineries, we're open all year long.
Okay, so
we're closed 5 days a year, and those are the main holidays.
And one of the things you got to mention about Montel is those sunset dinners. Is that what you were talking about? Because you do those every weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Am I right?
Friday and
they're
Saturday.
like $25 to $35 a head, and they're on this. Again, that's why this scavenger hunt is so cool because you can go to all these places, and when you get to Montel, you'll see that patio, and you'll go, "Man, this is just awesome." It's it's hard to describe. It's just so cool.
The thing that's so cool about the sunset dinners is that, you show up at the winery around 6 or 6:30. You taste some wines. You choose a bottle of wine that you're going to have with dinner, and you sit down, white linens, china, the whole works, and the servers come out, and they bring you course after course after course. And while you're enjoying yourself and enjoying the dinner, you watch the sun slowly go down until there's this beautiful sunset. Very romantic.
And then live entertainment. Almost all 4 of the wineries offer wine entertainment at different times. You bring in, duos and all
Becky,
that.
you do those concerts on the hill still? Do you still do those?
I was just going to mention that, George.
Yeah.
We all have live entertainment, and it's usually Saturday and Sunday afternoons. Some different wineries have the different hours for evening music. We have a new, huge pavilion on our hilltop, and we are doing Saturday night concerts once a month.
Oh,
so
very nice.
We do those April, May, June, July, and August.
Okay.
And it's all on our website at sugarcreekwines.com. So
right on the Katy Trail. You can bike up or drive up.
Very
You
nice.
bet. You
You're
bet.
featuring local bands on that, I guess, and you can is that a ticketed event or do you just come out and join in the fun?
Well, those events are ticketed.
Okay.
We have big bands like Dr. Javegas,
wow.
Stacey Collins, Butch Wax and the Hollywoods. Really, a big draw from, like you're saying, from local visitors and followers. But we just do a whole variety of activities on all of us.
And then Rick's Winery, you've got. Is Balducci's your restaurant as well? I'm not sure of the connection there. There's a Balducci restaurant in Maryland Heights, and there's Balducci Winery. There's a connection because you've got kind of the same menu.
Yeah. The restaurant's been there 40 years this September. So back then I had hair. I don't anymore. But a lot of the same
to the
food
choir, brother.
We feature out at the winery, and we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday for dining, every day for lunch. Have the same menu. So the restaurant is ongoing, and we're going to actually expand that. Try to get more into the restaurant business a little bit.
We've written about Balducci's, the ravioli and the salad and the different kinds of pizza. I mean, it's a very quaint, charming little pizzeria out in Maryland Heights, and you can get the same stuff out in Augusta.
Yeah, it's one of the few restaurants that's in the lower level downstairs, so it makes it unique.
Right.
And it's kind of a cozy place. Been there a long time. But Balducci Vineyards, one of the things that people like about it is it's very open. There's about 5 acres of terraces and plenty of covered seating in a barn and a tent and so on. So rain or shine,
yep, you get you covered.
That's right.
Beautiful. It's Becky, it's Rick, it's Tony from the Weinstrasse. Thank you all very, very much. And next time, bring a little food, for God's sakes, would you? I mean, come on. We're starving over here.
And
Can't
more
even get a glass of wine. Thanks a bunch, guys. Appreciate it. FM News Talk 97.1.